HAYWIRE is a 2011 action thriller film directed by Steven Soderbergh. The movie follows the story of Mallory Kane, a skilled and highly trained operative working for a private intelligence firm. We are introduced to Mallory Kane, portrayed by Gina Carano, a former Marine and a Black Ops specialist who now works for a private security contractor. The movie begins at a restaurant in upstate New York, where Mallory awaits for Aaron. Aaron is a comrade that also works for the firm. He joins her for a cafe. After a short conversation about their employer, Aaron reveals to Mallory that he is there to capture her. He tells her to voluntarily get in the car, but she refuses. A fight breaks out between the two. Aaron, with the upper hand, almost captures her, but Mallory fights back and finds a way to knock him unconsciously. While everyone's staring at her frightened, Scott, a customer in diner, asks her if she's okay and what happened. She replies that both she and Aaron are contractors with a private firm employed by the American government for covered operation assignments. She takes Scott's car keys and escapes with his car. Mallory begins to recount the events that led her to this point. 1 week before, at a meeting among government agent Coblins, his contact, Rodrigo, and Mallory's ex-boyfriend, and the firm's director, Kenneth, played by Ewan McGregor, the firm was hired to rescue John, who is being held in Barcelona. Mallory and her team, which includes Aaron, succeed in rescuing John and delivering him to Rodrigo. Shortly thereafter, Mallory is approached by Kenneth, who insists she undertake what he claims is an easy assignment, for her to pose as the wife of British agent Paul during a mission in Dublin. Mallory agrees and accompanies Paul to a party at Rusborough House, where they meet with his contact, Studer. Paul meets with Studer again as Mallory watches from afar. She sees Paul go into a barn, and after he leaves, she enters it to find John dead, clutching in his hand a brooch which Kenneth required her to wear as a recognition signal for her initial contact with Paul. Mallory realizes she has been set up and returns to her hotel room, where she is attacked by Paul. They fight, Mallory gets the upper hand and eventually shoots Paul dead. Mallory calls Kenneth from Paul's phone and Kenneth reveals that he's aware of the setup before realizing it's Mallory he's speaking to. As Mallory leaves her hotel, she evades what are presumably Kenneth's agents tailing her, but a SWAT team appears and tries to arrest her. She escapes after a chase and manages to enter the United States and reach the diner, where she meets Scott. Mallory calls Rodrigo from Dublin and asks him whether it was he or Kenneth who set her up, then hangs up. This prompts Rodrigo to call Coblins, who then calls Mallory. Coblins tells Mallory that he has had suspicions about Kenneth for some time. Coblins then contacts Kenneth and tells him to inform Mallory's father, John Kane, Bill Paxton, who already knows of his daughter's occupation, of her crimes. Meanwhile, on the road, Mallory and Scott are chased by the police and hit a tree after a deer runs into Scott's car. They are both arrested, but soon the convoy is ambushed by assassins posing as federal agents sent by Kenneth. Mallory escapes, kills one of the assassins, and releases Scott. She gives him a number to call for protection and leaves to meet with her father. Mallory reaches her father's house in New Mexico before Kenneth, Aaron, and 2 additional men arrive, posing as the police, to interrogate John on his daughter's whereabouts. Aaron starts to realize, after receiving a photograph on his phone of John lying dead, that Mallory might have been set up. He tries to press Kenneth for the truth, but Kenneth shoots him in the abdomen and escapes as Mallory takes out his men. Aaron apologizes to Mallory and eventually dies in her arms of excessive blood loss. The following day, Mallory meets with Coblins, who reveals that he ordered Kenneth to contact Mallory's father so she could kill him there. Mallory asks Coblins to fix things with Scott, which he promises to do. Coblins also informs Mallory of Kenneth's location. Before Mallory leaves, Coblins offers her a government job, but she replies only that she'll let him know after she finds Kenneth. The climax of the film occurs in Mexico, where Mallory confronts Kenneth at his villa. A fierce and intense showdown ensues, resulting in Mallory ultimately defeating Kenneth. Kenneth tries to escape, but gets his foot twisted and jammed between 2 rocks. He reveals that Jang was a journalist who had written a series of articles exposing Studer's crimes. Knowing that Mallory planned to leave his firm, Kenneth arranged for her to rescue John and deliver him to Rodrigo, who then delivered him to Studer, who killed him. Kenneth then framed Mallory, planning to cut all ties that could lead to him by convincing Paul that Mallory was a double agent whom he should kill. With all crimes being blamed on Mallory, Paul would eventually run free, claiming to have killed her in self-defense. Disgusted by hearing the truth, Mallory leaves Kenneth to drown in the incoming tide for his betrayal. A few days later, Mallory locates Rodrigo, who is enjoying a retirement in a hotel in Majorca. She confronts him in his room and finishes the job. In the aftermath of this incredible story, Mallory dispatched all the men from her previous life, and she cleared her name. Life is wide open to her from here on out, whether she accepts that job offer from Koblenz to join the CIA or goes down a completely different path. She decides to board a bus and reflects on her journey. The film ends on a note of ambiguity as Mallory continues to travel, leaving her past life behind. The end. If you enjoy these type of videos and would like more content like this, leave a like, and tell me your thoughts about this movie in the comments.